There were no guns in this robbery, no masks, no hostages, not a single camera captured a face. And yet, 164 million Brazilian reais vanished without a trace. On a Monday morning, a bank employee walked down into the vault and saw a perfectly carved hole in the wall. At that moment, no one realized it yet, but the largest bank robbery in Brazil's history had already ended, silently, 2 days earlier. It was 8:17 a.m. when the employee of the Central Bank of Fortaleza opened the heavy metal door to the vault level. The first thing he noticed was the silence. Normally, the vault carried a thick smell of money and damp air. That morning, something felt off. He took a few steps inside, turned on the lights, and froze. The concrete wall wasn't blown open. It had been carefully drilled from below. His eyes moved to the shelves. They were empty. No broken locks. No triggered alarms. When the police arrived minutes later, no one could answer a single question. How had the vault been emptied? Months earlier, a completely unremarkable house was rented just a few streets away from the bank. A small sign on the door read, Grama Verde Landscaping. Inside, everything matched the image. Shovels, bags of soil, rolls of grass. To the neighbors, it was just another small business. Workers came and went during the day. At night, the house fell silent. But beneath a large rug in the living room, there was a hidden wooden hatch. When opened, it revealed a narrow staircase, descending into darkness. The crew consisted of 11 people. One was a former construction engineer responsible for calculating every meter of the tunnel. Others were professional diggers who knew how to work in near silence. One man had spent years studying bank security systems. Another knew exactly how to make large amounts of money disappear. Their leader was known only as Marcos. No one used his real name. He had one rule above all others: no weapons, no violence, no panic. To him, this wasn't a robbery, it was a game of chess. The digging was done every night. Noise was kept to an absolute minimum. The soil was packed into special bags and removed during the day, disguised as landscaping waste and transported by van. Wooden beams reinforced the tunnel, electrical wiring was installed, and a simple but effective ventilation system kept the air breathable. Old architectural plans of the bank had been obtained. Every meter was measured, every angle double-checked. One mistake could mean collapse or emerging beneath the wrong building. What made this robbery truly terrifying wasn't the digging or even the money, it was the waiting. Hours were spent underground in complete darkness, listening for footsteps above, holding their breath every time a distant vibration passed through the soil. One wrong sound could have meant discovery. But nothing ever came. The city moved on above them, completely unaware. The vault was protected by advanced technology, but it relied on a single assumption: any threat would come from above. Doors, locks, and cameras were everywhere, but an underground breach had never been considered. There were no motion sensors beneath the floor. As the tunnel grew longer, so did the pressure. Some members began to doubt the plan. Others feared betrayal. Marcos kept the group together through discipline and silence. No phones underground, no unnecessary talk. Everyone knew panic would end everything. On Saturday night, when the tunnel reached the exact point beneath the vault, the team waited. They listened. They checked again. Then they began drilling through the concrete. Every second carried the risk of exposure, but no alarm ever sounded. When the concrete finally gave way, they saw stacks upon stacks of banknotes. The shelves were perfectly organized, frozen in time. The team did not rush. There was no panic. Over the course of 2 days, they worked in shifts. Bags were filled, passed through the tunnel, and loaded into vans behind the house. Not a single shout, not a single mistake. By Sunday night, almost nothing remained inside the vault. 164 million reais had disappeared in total silence. Once the robbery was complete, the fear didn't disappear, it multiplied. Moving the money was riskier than stealing it. Cash was split, hidden, buried, laundered through businesses. Trust eroded quickly. Every knock on the door felt like the police. Every unfamiliar car felt like surveillance. By the time police arrived on Monday morning, it was far too late. Security footage showed nothing. Alarm logs were clean. The initial theory pointed to an inside job. Employees were questioned extensively. But once the tunnel was discovered, everything changed. Nearby rental properties had gone unchecked for months, a critical failure. The investigation had lost precious time before it even truly began. After the money was divided, the team scattered. That's when the story took a darker turn. Within months, several people connected to the heist were found dead. Officially recorded as murders, many of the cases were never fully solved. Greed, betrayal, and fear tore the group apart from the inside. A few suspects were arrested. Others vanished completely. Most of the money was never recovered. To this day, the tunnel beneath that bank in Fortaleza is still talked about because no one was threatened. No weapons were used. Only patience, planning, and silence. And one question remains unanswered. Where is the 164 million reais now? This wasn't just a robbery. It was a demonstration of how patience can outmatch force. And that is why, years later, the Fortaleza tunnel heist is still studied, still discussed, and still feared.